Hello, I'm Hoovian with Small Collection and welcome back to Timeline Theory. From the beginning to the Empire of Death, let's make a huge timeline of Doctor Who media. Now, continuing on from where we were last time, to 1999 Big Finish. So these releases, there's about 6 of them, 6 audio releases we are putting into the timeline today. From the main range we have Silence of Time, Fantasmagoria and Whispers of Tellor, yeah. And from beneath Summerfield's range, we have the last 2 parts of the Timeline trilogy, Birthright and Just War. And we also have the special edition called Buried Treasures, which is 2 stories, Making Myths and Closure. Let's begin. Before we get into the meat of the video, which is the main range, of course, because that's all you want to see. You want to see where the Doctor Who stories go into the Doctor Who timeline. We're going to have a look at a little spin-off, the Beneath Summerfield spin-off. So let's quickly just blast these 3 stories out, shall we? So these Beneath audios, the first 2, Birthright and Just War, they are the continuation of the Timeline trilogy. So they go straight after Walking to Babylon. Okay? And of course, just before the TV movie. Meaning there's still a huge gap in between, of course, this is only season 1 of Beneath Summerfield, to the TV movie. Now, Buried Treasures is 2 stories. Okay? So the 2 stories are Making Myths, like I said earlier, and Closure. Now, I'm going to split these 2 stories up. So I'm going to have Making Myths after Beyond the Sun. And then I'm going to have Closure at the end of the Timeline trilogy, because Beneath Summerfield uses the timeline and everything like that. So we're going to put that there. So that is the Beneath Summerfield timeline so far, and where it goes in the 7th Doctor timeline as well. I hope that makes it clear for everyone there then. But anyway, that's where they go in the timeline. Let's continue on to the Doctor Who stories, shall we? So we have 3 Doctor Who stories to go into the timeline. We have Silence of Time, Phantasmagoria, and Whispers of Terror. Now, let's leave Silence of Time for a while. I'll explain what I'm going to do with Silence in a bit. But let's go on to the 5th Doctor's timeline of Phantasmagoria. Actually, before we get into that, let's go on to how we can explain how things go into the timeline before we put stuff into the timeline. So, how do these stories go in, of course? So there's a few tricks and tips. So one of the few tips and tricks that I look at is TARDIS teams. So TARDIS teams like Nyssa and 5, for example, 5th Doctor and Nyssa, they have to go in between Time Flight and Arc of Infinity. And then we look on to costumes. Those are also a huge giveaway. For example, 6th Doctor's blue outfit versus his colourful outfit. And the 7th Doctor's many variations of his outfit. I'm looking at the White Darkness outfit. I'm looking at the TV movie outfit. I'm looking at his season 24 outfit and season 25 outfit and season 26 outfit. Like, so many. And I also look at the continuity notes on TARDIS Wiki. Very helpful site. Very interesting to look at, and also very good to look at as well. And the last thing we look at is the Doctor and Companion's personality types at that point in time. What are they like? Who exactly are they at that point in time? And what do they do? Like, as in, like, is 6th Doctor and Peri still aggressive? Or are they friendship still? Let's continue. Like I said, let's start with Phantasmagoria and then work our way along. So, Phantasmagoria is a 5th Doctor and a Tellor story. Now, that is a huge giveaway for where it needs to go in the timeline. Mainly because 5 and Tellor don't have a TV run. Basically, their adventures alone together starts at the end of Resurrection of the Daleks, where Tegan leaves, and the end of their adventures is Planet of Fire, where Tellor leaves. So it has to go in between that gap. So Phantasmagoria pretty much is confirmed in between those 2 stories in the timeline. Now, this next one is slightly harder to place, but I'm going to just wing it for the timeline theory. We can easily move it around if other stuff comes up and other revelations come up. So, Whispers of Terror, since it's slightly harder to place, it's a 6th Doctor and Peri story. They start, of course, from Twin Dilemma to the end of Mind Warp. So it's sort of harder to place, so we'll have to look at the outfits. The 6th Doctor and Peri are in 2 kind of contradicting outfits. So 6th Doctor's in the Mind Warp outfit, and Peri is in the Planet of Fire outfit. so it's kind of, again, harder to place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this in between season 22 and season 23. So I'm going to put them in between there, and so it'll be Revelation of the Daleks, Whispers of Terror, Trial of the Time Lord. Now, the last story we've got to place is Silence of Time, like I said. We'll be doing this last. So, personally, I class multi-doctor stories, unless said otherwise, I class them as the most recent Doctor at the time in the story. That is their story. So, for example, Two Doctors is obviously a Sixth Doctor story, even though it's got the Second Doctor in it. So, Silence of Time to me is a Seventh Doctor story, and it would just be weird to sort of split the story up into like, oh, episode 2, Fifth Doctor, then you have to go to episode 4 with the Fifth Doctor timeline. It'd be a bit more confusing and a bit dramatic, I'd say, for what we're going for here. So let's start trying to dissect Silence of Time and see what happens. So Silence of Time is a Seventh Doctor alone story. So he doesn't seem to be bothered about leaving, for example, past companions. Like, he doesn't mention Ace, doesn't mention Bernice, doesn't mention Chris, doesn't mention Loz, doesn't mention Hex. So it's quite clear that he is further along in his timeline than we think. And because of the outfits and stuff like that, thanks to the Redux cover, which I'll hopefully put here, the Redux cover shows off perfectly which outfit he's wearing, apart from the original cover, which just shows his hat, so it's kind of harder to sort of work out what he's wearing. But he is wearing his TV movie costume. So this story must be really close to the end of the Seventh Doctor's timeline and the end of his era. So I'll put it there in my timeline, just after Just War and just before the TV movie. As I feel that it just makes sense there, personally, because you're not going to put it after Survival. It's not going to make sense, is it? And there we have it. There is the updated timeline for 1999 Big Finish Doctor Who. So let's have a look at what we've added so far. So for the Fifth Doctor, we've added Resurrection of the Daleks to Phantasmagoria to Planet of Fire. For the Sixth Doctor, we have added Revelation of the Daleks to Whispers of Terror to Trial of the Time Lord, or Mysterious Planet. And for the Seventh Doctor, including spin-offs, we have added Beyond the Sun to Making Myths to Walking to Babylon to Birthright to Just War to Closure to Silence of Time to the TV movie. And that's everything we managed to get in today, everyone. So just for conclusion's sake, that's how people in 1999 would marathon Doctor Who if they were to include Big Finish into their timeline. So from, it would be Unearthly Child at this point, to the TV movie, that is where people would place all their stories, and if they wanted to do a marathon. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of these placements. If you think I've made some mistakes, I can easily adjust them. I can easily make them. I can even discuss them with you and see why you think like that, and we can sort of bounce off each other with ideas. Like, subscribe, share, I don't know. And I'll be seeing you with my next Mammoth video. This hopefully will be a bit longer than the 1998 one, this video at least, and then the 2000s era is what I'm going to be doing next. That is like 15 releases. It's quite a lot. I'll probably like need to work out the format I'm going to be doing for that video. But yeah, I will catch you in the timeline. Goodbye!